Hello, welcome back to my channel. So Heather recently went live on her Facebook page and she shared more details about what happened when she gave birth to her son on February 19th. And she also shared more details about her plans when she leaves the hospital. So before I get to that, I do want to share this Cash App receipt that I forgot to share in my last video about her. So someone ended up sending her money, and you can see that she has $54 in her Cash App account. And this girl by the name of Chrissy sent Heather some money, and she said, "You are not anyone's responsibility. You can work." And I'm not sure if Heather interpreted what she was trying to say correctly, because Heather responded, "Thank you, Chrissy. I agree with you 100%, and it feels great to have someone agree with me regarding my skill sets and desire to be employed and or self-employed again. God bless." It's like, okay, did you even fully read that, what she's saying? Because Chrissy, I don't think, is saying what you think she's trying to tell you, Heather. She's telling you can get off your butt and get a job and stop expecting handouts. And so then Heather went live on Facebook, and let's go ahead and get into this live and react to what she had to say. It's about 5 minutes long in total.
Hi, you guys. So it is 4:13 on February the 20th, 2024. This is Heather Gillespie. I am sweating profusely, so I apologize. I have gotten into the shower since giving birth, but so many of you have been incredibly supportive over the last several years of adversity. And I just wanted to get on and tell you guys that we have a happy, healthy baby boy weighing in at 8 pounds, 0 ounces, 52 centimeters. I just added on the name Weston Mateo. Mateo literally means gift from God, 2 centimeters.
So she was told by the doctors that the baby was going to come out. I think she was saying 9 or 10 pounds he was weighing inside of her. I think it was over 9 pounds. So she was scared she was going to have a 10-pound baby. But now it's confirmed it's an 8-pound baby. She says he's healthy. And I'm assuming that there's nothing in his system. I mean, we still fully don't know. But I feel like if there's any kind of hard drugs he would have to be weaned off, then he would be in the NICU. And he's been spending a lot of time in Heather's hospital room with her and Xavier.
And I'm just very happy, very grateful. I was able to spend some time with all my children today, other than my baby girl, the 10-year-old who is at school, I assume. But the big kids were able to make it out here, which very grateful for the person who drove them. He knows who he is, a personal friend of the children.
At least her other children were able to meet her brother, which that's great and everything, because, you know they have a brother that's now here. But I do feel like at the same time they may be a little confused if for some reason she's not able to take her son home with her to the tent. I feel like, the kids may get attached to this kid that they may not even have a future with. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Been so incredibly supportive, and I could not be more grateful. So I just, again, as I wanted to say, it's 4:15 on Wednesday, the 20th of February. And we just wanted to say hello and thank you so very much for all of your support. We greatly appreciate it. So
this would be the perfect time to be like, Xavier, do you want to be on camera? Because I definitely want to hear his thoughts about the new baby. We haven't even really seen Xavier since she gave birth, except for him doing an upside down handstand against the hospital room door.
I'll be back in about a week. I'm going to take a few days off of social media, just to kind of, rest and give the baby, some attention and love, and do some more writing. But I'll be back, as I always am. So thank you guys so much for showing love. I really appreciate it. I will be still posting to all my socials with my regular content, and other things of that nature, but I'm not going to be checking in on any lives. My voice is literally gone.
I think that's probably best, especially while she's indoors. I'd be taking advantage of that while you're indoors and getting all the sleep and rest and just chilling out as much as you can before she's got to get thrown back out outside.
On from screaming from no epidural. Really quickly before I hop off, I'll tell you guys the birth story. So I have been insisting that we get into the hospital prior to going into labor. Xavier had other plans, and the day I went into labor, he was busy doing other things, running around. First-time father anxiety really got to him, I suppose. And
okay, I get it. He's running around, but when you know your girl's about to go into labor literally any second, he should make sure that he's not far and he can literally be there within minutes to help go to his girl and be there. And I feel like that was just kind of on him for waiting 5 hours. Her original birth plan was she wanted to get an epidural, but she claimed once she had the baby, she's strongly against taking like Tylenol or ibuprofen. It's one of those, or it might be both. But she said she refuses to take those, and then she was gonna refuse any kind of pain medication. If she made it to the hospital 4 minutes after she did, then she would have not been able to get an epidural. So that is pretty serious. Thank God they made it when she did. Like, I was starting to think this girl was about to have the baby in the tent at the rate she was going when she was in labor in the tent for hours waiting on Xavier to pack up.
To make it here until 12 p.m. On the night of my labor, or morning of my labor, rather. I was already 5 centimeters when I arrived, and
Ooh.
They could not place an epidural until I had an entire bag of hydration. So I progressed from 0 centimeters all the way to 10 centimeters with no medication. The worst pain of my life. I would try to breathe through. I don't know how ladies did this before medication. I really don't. The only way I could distract myself from the pain would be to be vocal, to scream. So I would just be yelling, ah, until my voice could not produce sound anymore. But all of the energy coming from my diaphragm was still coming out. If anyone's ever ridden the giant drop at Six Flags, the exact...
Yeah, you can definitely tell she's been doing some screaming. But hey, you get birth. That is completely understandable.
The same thing happened to me when I was terrified on that ride. And they drop you and you're like, and it literally looks like I'm not screaming, but I'm giving it my all. So I think I bruised my vocal cords. Yeah. Either way, I got the epidural 4 minutes before I had to push. And this...
Why, he's so cute. Look at the little squishy face.
Is the result of all that hard work. So again, I'm very, very grateful. Could not be more grateful. You guys have a fantastic few days without me. As I said, I'm not going to be doing my usual FTRs.
And I'm going to be so annoyed as she continues to act like she doesn't know who the father of this baby is, because some days she'll be like, yeah, Xavier's the father. Xavier has bulletproof sperm, so this is how I got pregnant. And then there's other days where she claims that people were sneaking in her tent and, you know, pretty much taking advantage of her, and that's how she got pregnant. But I think that baby looks like a spitting image of Heather and Xavier. He definitely has Xavier's skin tone, and he has Heather's face shape and eye shape.
I'm just kind of going to be laying low. Xavier's father is giving us a budget for a different place to stay. I don't want to be too forthcoming about where that is, because even in trusting that people would not follow me, calling Chicago police and letting them know that I was on my way to the hospital so that they could give extra, assistance in the way of keeping harassment out, they've not been able to be very successful. There have been multiple intrusions, and most of them happen when my boobs are out, where my butt is out. So
okay, so I'm confused. So she's saying that people are popping up at the hospital and intruding on her, or is she referring to like the nurses? And that's another thing. when I gave birth. Oh my gosh, I was so tired and exhausted after giving birth. That's the one thing I hated, is when you're trying to rest and catch up on sleep, and it feels like literally every 20 minutes you have a nurse coming in. Are you okay? Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to get some vitals. Oh, here's some Tylenol. It's too much. It's like, man, just let me sleep for 4 hours. But also, there have been a lot of people who have been coming out and saying they have been notifying the hospital, and I strongly urge nobody to do that, because when people do that, it's pretty much doing exactly what Heather's saying. She says, oh, people calling the hospital is going to take it as a trolling situation where it's just people who don't like her, who are harassing her and making up things, especially when these people don't have any kind of personal attachment to her, like they're not related by family, and they really don't know anything about her beyond what we've seen on the show and social media. The more calls they get like that, the less they're going to take it seriously. And the family, at least I know the aunt, has confirmed that she's reached out to the hospital. And I don't know how true it is, or if she's just living in fantasy land, that she thinks that Xavier's father is going to give them a budget for an apartment. Because I feel like if he was going to give them a budget for an apartment, like she's been saying for months, then I feel like he would have already did that and made sure they had a set place and had furniture and they're all set up before the baby got here. I don't feel like he would randomly do that last minute, because even if you do find a place, it's not like you're going to be moving in there before you get out of the hospital. You're still going to have to do the application, be on a waiting list. And if you're not on a waiting list, then you're not going to be able to move in right then and there unless they have like immediate opening. I guess it's the 20th, and a lot of leases start at the beginning of the month. So maybe if they're lucky, they can get in 10 days if they find somewhere available. But that's going to be hard. And maybe Xavier's dad met the baby and he had a change of heart and he was like, hey, I want my grandson to be in his life. I guess we'll just have to see. It's just I don't have much faith when it comes to that, because she said that so many times in the past. But at the same time, she was asking for too much. It's not like she was just going to Xavier's dad and being like, oh yeah, we need a place to stay for our baby, and being humble about it and getting like a small studio. She was sending him these expensive condos and townhouses that were like $2,000-$3,000. And it's like, okay, I doubt Xavier's dad, his apartment or house he's living in, even costs $2,000-$3,000 for himself. So if he's not even spending that much on his own rent, why would he go spend that much on somebody else's rent? And I do have concerns that, yes, he may feel bad and decide to help them out and put them in a place, but I'm scared what Heather's going to do to it, because we saw what she did to that apartment when Eric got her apartment. She drew all over the walls. She destroyed it. She had candle wax all over the carpet, and that's going to ruin his rental history, and he could possibly even get a lawsuit due to her doing damage.
It's been an exhausting 2 days, and I'm very much looking forward to the opportunity to rest and relax in the next step for baby and I. So again, you guys, thank you so much for all of your support and love. I am very, very grateful. You guys have a great day.
And that's another thing I'm wondering, because I'm sure they have, what are they called? Caseworkers coming into the hospital, sitting her down, trying to figure out what the plan is from here once the baby leaves the hospital, because they want to make sure that baby is not just going to be going out in the wild when it leaves. And I wonder maybe if the caseworker came and was like, okay, we need a plan. And I wonder if Heather was like calling Xavier's dad, like, hey, either you got to take custody of this baby or you got to help us out with a place. And I think it's pretty telling when Xavier's dad has an extra bedroom that Xavier lived in before Heather came in the picture, but he won't even let them stay in there because he's had such a bad experience with Heather in the past. And he said, like, Heather came into their place. I can't remember who said that, but somebody spoke with Xavier's dad or a family member of Xavier's dad, and they said that Heather pretty much came in Xavier's dad's place and she took over the whole place. She started to act like the extra room that they had, she was trying to turn it into a bedroom for her kids. And if you're only living in like a 2-3 bedroom house and you're coming in and you got this stranger that's dating your son and she's trying to take over 3/4 of the house, yeah, that'd probably be a problem. Especially when we see how Heather likes to decorate. Like, she's probably bringing in a whole, like, remember when she had all those water bottles? She used to put food dye in, and she'd put them on top of her cabinets at her apartment she had of Eric's, and she did that. I can't remember what she used to call it. She used to call it some kind of, like, I don't even know what it was called, but she did that as decoration. So I can't even imagine what kind of decorating she tried to do at Xavier's dad's house. So I don't know. I'm starting to not know what's going to happen from here, especially with the weather starting to get nicer. Did she ever buy the travel system for her baby? Like, she's saying she's going to buy a stroller and a car seat. I never saw her buy any of that stuff. I just saw her talking about it. Some people were saying she bought it, but I haven't seen any of the items. And another thing is, like, she didn't buy not one single diaper before she had the baby. At least that I saw. No diapers, no wipes. And that's the most important part that a baby needs, because the baby is going to be going through a whole lot of diapers every single month. And yes, you can do diaper pantries, but most diaper pantries only give you about 50 diapers a month. And that's not even a week's worth of diapers. And the only concern I have is, yes, people can give Heather a handout. And I feel like a lot of people have been sending her money. That's why she immediately started the video saying, thank you guys. I've had an overwhelming amount of support, and she was so happy. I feel like she's been ringing in the donations. But yes, people can give her donations, but she cannot expect this baby to live off other people's donations and good graces. Her or Xavier have got to get a job to step up and provide for this child. Yes, there's plenty of people out there who have children and don't work and just live off the state, but I just don't think that's going to be great long term. And the only concern I have is we've seen how Heather did last time when she got that apartment from Eric. She was in that apartment for at least a good 9 months, and she didn't even get a job. She had a job for a couple days. No, she got that job while she had an Airbnb. So in that 9 months she was living in that apartment, she didn't have a single job. She had enough time to get her crap together, get a job, get on her feet, especially when she wasn't having to pay rent. Those 9 months that she would have worked a job and she would have been able to put almost all her paychecks aside, except for like necessities and having to eat. But she didn't even have to pay rent. That's money she could have stacked for 9 months to help pay for the next 9 months. Heather just lollygags around, and I think I'm starting to wonder if she even has ADHD, or if she was wrongly diagnosed. And the only reason I say that is I'm not a doctor, so do not take this as fact. But I know, and I've learned in the past, that people who don't have ADHD, who are prescribed medication, because I had a family member who was misdiagnosed with ADHD, and they put her on Adderall. And since she did not have ADHD and she was misdiagnosed, it did the complete opposite for her. Instead of helping her attention span, it made her ADHD 20 times worse. And I think that is a big problem for Heather. Her ADHD is so bad that it causes her to hyper focus on these things, like these photo shoots, her writing, her blog for hours on at a time. And she can't focus on anything else. And then it takes away from her focusing on things that are important, like her priorities. And I'm not saying she doesn't have it, but there's definitely things that cause her to not focus on priorities like she needs to. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think needs to be done in this situation? Is there things that you guys think that Heather could do that would make her an adequate mother? I just feel like at this point, like even the pregnancy, she's had 9 months to get a job and prepare for this baby. Like not the past few months, because it's been hard because she's been big. She's been exhausted. She's been in a lot of pain. She said this was the worst pregnancy ever. But when she first found out she was pregnant, she could have easily got a job. I am also concerned because I hope Xavier's dad's getting them a place, but I also hope that this isn't just her living in a fantasy land, and I hope she's not putting all her eggs in one basket with this and turning down all the other great resources that the hospital is probably offering her, because I've heard numerous people say that if you're in a situation like Heather's, they'll typically put you in a hotel for at least a few weeks and get you transportation to the hotel from the hospital, and they'll even give you like gift cards or for different food places or for some groceries. They'll make sure they don't just throw you out into the wild with nothing. So I hope Heather doesn't think that this is for sure going to happen when it's not, and then say, oh no, I'm good, I don't need your guys' resources, like she's turned down in the past, and then get out, and then she's screwed. And then she's back to calling 311, which she claims she never gets through, or she gets a ticket number, and then next thing you know, she finds out she lost her spot in line. That's pretty much it. I just look back at all the things we've seen Heather go through this past few years, and just imagining a baby along her side having to go through all those things. Like, maybe this may be the big thing that finally wakes her up and changes her, but I really doubt it. But I will say she has been very positive and happy, and she has been glowing this past few days since she had her baby, and I love to see that at least. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Check out my lashes and cosmetics at AccordingtoAmber.com. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.